Hey everybody, this is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. I got a hypothetical question for you. How many of you own a yacht that cost you over $230,000? Raise your hand. Okay, now how many of you own more than one yacht that cost over $230,000? Or how many of you plan to buy another one? Well, probably not many of you, if any of you, held up your hand. Okay, what about the people that own private jets that hold less than 20 passengers and can carry less than 6,000 pounds? What about those people? Let's see a show of hands. Who owns one of those? Do you own one of those? Do you? No? Nobody owns it? That's weird. I would have thought more people owned it because the Republicans keep telling us that if we basically give these things away, it's going to create jobs. But since nobody's buying them, where the hell does that come from? Where did they get that argument? Well, that's the argument they made. You see, they were in this budget, they were going to raise minimum wage, got rid of that. They were going to give an education tax credit to help people pay for college, got rid of that. They were going to help relieve property taxes from middle-class Americans, got rid of that. They were going to have some campaign finance reform, whatever that may have been, who knows, gone. But what they left in there was that if you purchase a yacht that costs over $230,000, any amount over $230,000 will not be subject to sales tax. And if you're going to buy a jet that holds less than 20 passengers and carries less than 6,000 pounds in cargo, you don't pay sales tax at all. And their argument, well, this is about creating jobs, you see. We're just trying to create jobs. This is going to create jobs. This is how you create jobs. You give money to wealthy people to buy things that they don't need and things that nobody else can have. We're going to give that money to these people, and they're going to create jobs. So it's funny, I got to thinking about how many jobs this might create. And I tried to narrow down the category of just yachts worth over $230,000. There's not a lot of information out there. I'm sure I could find it if I just really, really sat down and tried. But I did find this little graph. And this is from registered boats from the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, this list doesn't include charter boats, fishing boats, rental boats, excursion boats, etc. Now, some of these may include commercial vessels that were initially created as recreational vessels, which is what a yacht would be. Okay, so the vessels with lengths of between 40 and 75 feet, there are 75,690 registered vessels in the United States. In the entire United States. Less than 76,000 vessels. Now, we're just talking about New York State, okay? We're just talking about New York State. So how many of those are sold in New York State? Probably not very many. And also, you have to keep in mind that 75,690 includes old vessels. So they could have had these vessels for 10, 20, 30 years. And it's still registered with the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, this may not cover all boats that are worth over $230,000, rather all yachts that are worth over $230,000, but it probably also includes some that are not in that category of what was given a sales tax exemption. And private jet, I'm not even going to go into the private planes because I guarantee it's far less than that. It's probably 1,000 to 2,000 max sold in New York for private planes. Not on a lease, but on actual purchasing. So how many jobs is that really going to create? It boggles my mind. And people, these suckers, they suck this up. Like they believe what these idiots are saying to them. They're like, oh, yeah, that's good. That's good for jobs. You know, we The rich people, they're the ones that keep this economy going. If it wasn't for rich people, by God, we'd just be a terrible country. Really. Something that hardly anybody is going to buy, and you're going to just basically get rid of, $50,000 in sales tax, essentially, just because you think it's going to create jobs. Now, obviously, there are going to be some people from some other state surrounding that state, surrounding New York, that will come in and buy a yacht from New York instead of their state because it's going to be cheaper. But if you think about it, are those yachts that they're selling in New York actually being built in New York? If they're not, that's not creating many jobs, because from a retail point of view, you don't really need that many jobs to sell boats from a retail point of view. I mean, if you get, let's say 100 extra yachts are sold a year because of this out of New York, how many more salespeople do you really need to sell 100 boats in a year? 100 extra. 1? 2? Who knows? But I can guarantee it's not very many. So this whole, creating jobs thing is just ridiculous. And of course somebody asked that. They asked a follow-up inquiring what states New York was losing yacht jobs to. It's like, oh, this is, we got to be competitive in New York. So we got to offer these yachts at a discounted price. So us New Yorkers, we're going to get rid of that revenue so that these rich people can get a discount. As if they don't have enough money already. If you've got $230,000 to buy a yacht, I think it's fair to say that you're not going to care about the sales tax. I seriously doubt if you're willing to give up $230,000 for something you just really do not need. You have more money than you know what to do with. And if that isn't the case, you are an idiot and you shouldn't be buying a yacht. Who are you trying to impress? I'm not impressed, because when I see somebody driving a yacht, I think douchebag. That's what comes to my mind. You want to get a frickin' pontoon boat, or get one of those houseboats. You gotta have a damned yacht. Who needs a damned yacht? Rich people do, because they want to look mighty and powerful. But it has nothing to do with jobs. Nothing. So they get rid of minimum wage. They get rid of tax credits for education. They get rid of campaign finance reform. They get rid of all these good things that are good for the people in New York so that they can afford to cut revenue. Because essentially what they did was they're like, well, we work 40 hours normally. We work 40 hours a week normally. Now I think we're going to cut back to 20 hours a week. That's what they did. They cut their revenue stream. They cut how much money that those locales bring in. That's called revenue, people. That's what sales tax is. Bring in money. Where are they going to get that lost revenue? Oh, I don't know. Maybe they'll start writing extra tickets. Maybe they'll start, seizing assets. These civil forfeitures that they do nowadays. Maybe they'll start handing out just god-awful amounts of tickets to everybody. Oh, you're jaywalking. That's $25 with a $300 administration fee and a $200 court fine. So that $25 ticket's going to end up costing you almost $600. That's how they're going to pay for it. But guess who gets that? That's right. It's going to be you and me, folks, the middle classers, people that work for a living. People that actually do things that are productive with their lives instead of just sitting around collecting some capital gains check, some dividend check. Just sit there on your ass all day waiting for that check to roll in so that you can get back on your computer, make a couple of calls to your stockbroker, and play the casino game that is Wall Street. They keep trying to tell us that, oh, these rich people, man, they work hard for their money. The hell they do. The hell they do. And we're getting to the point where Many of the rich people in this nation inherited their money. Didn't work for it. I mean, look at Paris Hilton. I mean, just look at her. That's what happens. That's what happens. Aristocracy? Need I say more? Do we really want that in this country? No, we got to get that money from the rich people and put it back into the economy. We have to put the money back into the economy or this economy stagnates. And that's what it's doing now. It's because these people take and hoard this cash. And they do it for stupid things like yachts. Like, oh, we're going to cut the state's funding, or we're going to cut the state's revenue so that Bill Gates can buy another yacht and not have to pay sales tax. I mean, because think about it. You got a $5 million yacht. Let's say this yacht's $10 million. Now they don't have to pay sales tax on anything over $230,000. That's a lot of revenue for the city. That's a lot of revenue. But how many jobs are actually created? How many? How many people does it take to create that one yacht? And the amount of yachts that are actually being sold, it makes no sense to do that to such an industry. It'd be one thing if it was economical cars that they were giving these tax breaks to. Okay, if you buy a car that's worth between $10,000 and $20,000 and gets over 34 miles to the gallon, you don't pay sales tax on it. That I could understand. That might actually spur some economic activity. People might actually run to the bank and go get a bunch of them. And then bam, they're selling a whole bunch of cars. They've got a bunch of people coming in from different states buying cars from New York now instead of from their state. But no, they didn't do that because that would help the middle class. And we all know the middle class works, they work hard, but they don't work hard enough, because if they really worked really hard, they could just make a lot of money. That's all BS. Well, that's it for now. I think I've ranted about this a little too long. Although I could probably go on for another 30 minutes about these kinds of things. Just absurd. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Hit the subscribe button if you like it. Share it. Do all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.